Testing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Flights of Fandom, Manipod Studios. Hold on. I have to turn up my friends. I have to turn up the other wonderful cast members here. We are here today. We are here to tell a little bit of a superhero story. Not just a superhero story. We are here to tell a story about truth, justice, about heroism. We are here to tell a story about our mutual friend, Superman. I am the guest of this stream who has also taken control of running things. I don't know why I've done that, but I hit the start button, so here we are. My name is Jeff Stormer. I am the designer of the game we are going to be playing this night that you can see directly under my name. I am the designer of Anyone Can Wear the Mask, which is the superhero game that we are going to be playing on this wonderful Superman flight. And joining me are two of my good friends who I'm here to tell some wonderful superhero stories with. We will run it down the line. We will start to my stage left. This is stage left.
Stage left.
Pooja, we will start with you. We will move to Marcy. We will start with you. Introduce yourself. Give your name, pronouns, and talk to us about why you're here. I'm nervous, which is why I'm rambling. Hi, everybody.
It's all good. Hello, everybody. I'm Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at Pooja and at Pajabberwocky in the Twitch chat tonight and on Instagram. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here because this game is chaotic and I love chaos. I just am really in love with playing a soft boy superhero. Who isn't? I mean,
it's my favorite.
You know, oh,
it's my everything.
The golden retrievers, I know. So I am very excited, and also we at Manipod are so grateful to have our lovely friend Jeff back to run his own game. I mean, come on, the pleasure is all ours, let me just say.
Oh,
I'm very excited
I specifically seek out every opportunity I can to sit in on a flight of fandom. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Stormer. My pronouns are he, his. I am a podcaster, game designer, and the official LARP designer of the Olive Garden restaurant. I am the designer of Anyone Can Wear the Mask. The factoid that I want to throw out is that I literally did go to school for superhero comics. It is in my actual degree in the closet directly behind me. And so this game is my 10 years late college thesis on superheroes as folklore and why it's important to me. And I wrote it as a love letter to Superman, and I am so excited to be sitting down to tell a Superman story with a game that I wrote as a Superman game. So thank you both for joining me, and I'm gonna throw it over to Marcy. I'm not used to joining in a direction yet with the camera, but we'll get there. Hey, everybody in the chat, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna throw it over to Marcy. Marcy, introduce yourself.
Hey, it's me, still Marcy. You've seen me around this channel before by now. If not, well, my username, Experimental Madness, all over the internet, except for Twitter, where I tend to remain as the resident cryptid and shall remain so. But in theory, you can find me under the username Marciful. I'm beyond nervous and excited to be playing this game tonight. I'm a lifelong Superman fan. I'll just give a factoid. I wouldn't go to sleep when I was a baby unless my Superman action figure was on my nightstand. So I'm so excited to be playing this.
I am very excited. I am so excited to be playing this and to be running this stream that my air conditioner is still on. So I'm going to go turn that off in 1 second. I was like, why is my audio being funky? And I realized it's because there was an air conditioner running. Hey, Twitch chat, we're getting there and we're working through it together. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on a journey with us, much like the heroic journey of Superman that we're about to embark on. So I will introduce the game that we are playing, and we'll talk through the scenario. Anyone Can Wear the Mask is a superhero role-playing game for 1 to 3 players about a hero, a villain, and the city that they share. Together, we're going to draw some cards, we're going to roll some dice, and we are going to tell the story, the week-by-week, issue-by-issues adventures of a legendary hero, the city that they love and protect, and the threats that put those people in danger. The hero is going to save the day. The hero always saves the day, but the question is whether the hero can save everyone and what it means when the hero can't. Eventually a nemesis will come along that will challenge the hero at their core. They will not be strong enough to face them at first, but they will come back stronger at the end of the story to save the day. This is a superhero story. This is what superhero stories are about, and this is the story that we are sitting down to play through today. So we have done a little bit of world building already, and as you can imagine by the title of this stream, by the Superman factoids that we've all been sharing, we are going to be using this game to tell the story of the Superman of Metropolis. So I'm going to throw it over to each of our 3 players, and I'm going to have us talk a little bit about the world building decisions that we made, and so we give us an idea of the specific Superman that we are exploring here today. We will start with our hero, Pooja. Talk to us a little bit about the Superman that you were embodying today.
So the soups that I am playing today, like I said, I was really into the idea of playing a little squish boy. And so we're going to sort of not baby Clark Kent, but this is a Clark who has not been in Metropolis for very long. He's still doing like street level, neighborhood level fighting of evil. Like he doesn't have his whole array of powers. He's just a guy out there trying to do good. You know, he sees a wrong and he has got to step in because he has the ability to help, and so he will. And so I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't want to say like a demystified version of Superman, but really,
like OG.
Yeah, OG, but Superman. very, very along the lines of like legit anyone can wear the mask. I mean, great. Yes, he's stronger than your average bear and stuff, but you know, like it's all about what's in the heart and not in the biceps.
All about what's in the heart. Yeah, I love it. That is actually, I'm very excited about this because this is specifically my favorite. This is my favorite iteration of Superman as a character. So when you pitched this particular take, I was so beyond excited. I was thrilled. I was expecting to tell a much different Superman story, and so I could not be more excited to get to really play around in this space. But Superman is only a third of the story. Superman, it does not exist without a place and a people to defend, and for Superman, there is no place that he defends more regularly and with more passion than the city of Metropolis. Marcy, talk to us about the city of Metropolis. Tell us about Metropolis at this point in Superman's story.
So this is like, since we're like going old school with our Superman story, I picture Metropolis is that old school Metropolis that some people might remember, a little like taking some inspiration from the early comics, from those early serials, and also a little bit from the animated show. If any of you grew up with that like I did, it holds a special place in my heart. So this is a little bit retro futuristic, as if the future was happening in the 40s. So little diesel punk kind of vibe, but also vaguely 90s. Who you just can't tell what time period it really is, which is an aesthetic I've always been fond of in general with comics. It seems to always be a city out of time, but a city of its own time. So we're going to see a lot of familiar places, if you're as much of a nerd as the rest of us, about Superman. We're picking some locations that should be familiar, but sprinkling it in there with a little bit of fan fiction fun, a couple of brand new places that we think of off the top of our heads.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be playing the role of the villain. Of note, I will be playing a nemesis character, but we don't know who that character is yet because that character is informed by the stories that we tell here and the drama that unfolds. So we're not going to know who that character is until we meet them, like until we flip the first Joker card. The way that the game works is we have a deck of cards in front of us. Marcy's going to be drawing some cards, and when Marcy flips the Joker card, that's when we're going to introduce our nemesis. It's somewhere in the back half of the deck, so we'll get some time. You'll get some time to be the hero but once we reach that halfway point in the sort of mini deck that we've put together, once we reach that halfway point, then that villain can appear at any moment, and that sort of, that's when things get a little bit scary and a little bit intense. That's when the city changes. That's when the villain makes their grandstand. But for now, I'm going to be playing a series of smaller threats of the week, sort of your issue-by-issue villains, and we will get to meet those characters and explore those threats on the fly. Before we dive in, does anyone have any final questions or things that we want to talk through or go over?
Man, just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I am so excited. I am making one note real quick. All right, y'all. Marcy, go ahead and draw us our first card and tell us where the first issue of our series is going to be set.
So, I've drawn the Queen of Spades.
Ooh, the Queen of Spades. This is exciting because traditionally anyone can wear the mask. Here's rules explainer Jeff. Traditionally, I'm very excited about this background. You've made me very happy.
It's very
today.
good.
So traditionally anyone can wear the mask. We will draw a number card. There are more number cards than there are face cards, but number cards represent a place that is in danger. They represent a site in the city. We will describe a location. We will put that location in danger, and then Superman will swoop in and save the day. Face cards are a little different. Face cards represent notable people in the life of our Clark Kent, our Superman. So, with the Queen, we are transporting to somewhere personal in the life of Superman. I am going to pop open the game that I wrote because I don't have it open in front of me, despite the fact that...
I do.
Marcy, can you tell us what the Queen of Spades represents? We are meeting someone that is personal in the life of Superman. Obviously, Superman wears a mask, has a secret identity, has a double life, but he is not always Superman, and there are people that represent important things. The Queen is the people who mean something not to Superman but to Clark Kent. What does the Queen of Clubs represent?
Spades.
Or Spades. What does the Queen of Spades represent?
Someone connected to the hero's origins.
Okay. So, Marcy, Metropolis, I'm going to throw it to you. Introduce who you want this to be, who is here that is connected to Superman's origins, and then tell us where we are. Tell us where this scene is taking place. Put it somewhere in the city. You can choose to tie it to the neighborhood of Clubs, which... I don't remember what that neighborhood is.
The neighborhood of Spades is the neighborhood of... Because I have this open totally. I'm not stalling for time. I'm not totally stalling for time.
I keep saying Clubs. It's fine because I keep saying Clubs.
It's New Troy.
New Troy. We are in New Troy.
And I knew that.
We are downtown. You can tie it to the neighborhood of New Troy if you'd like. You don't have to, but this is a scene with a person that is connected to Superman's origins and Superman's life before he was Superman.
Oh man, my gut is telling me this might be Lana, who's visiting.
That feels good.
Maybe, and like New Troy, what a great area to be out wandering around if you haven't visited Metropolis before.
Yeah, that feels like a great place to hang out. Like that feels like if you're going to Metropolis, you're kind of going to New Troy. It feels like that's kind of where you're heading.
And more specifically, oh man, like everything is down there, which is perfect because the Daily Planet is right there. So maybe she's meeting Clark on a break, or it's right after work.
I love that. I love that. I love, because that's a great first visual for a Superman comic, is that big, beautiful Daily Planet building, and then Clark Kent's corny ass stumbles outside.
That's fine, because Lana's corny too.
Exactly like that. Oh my goodness. So, we open on the Daily Planet. We open on a big shot of the iconic building, the building everybody in the world knows, the journalistic capital of the world. New Troy, bright lights, big city, gleaming and glowing. Pooja, Clark, what's the first thing that we see of Clark Kent as you are on your way to meet your dear friend, Lana Lang?
The first thing you see of Clark is just the towering height. You catch a glimpse of his back, and what you see is kind of this, like, I'm imagining it's fall because I really want it to be fall in real life. It's fall. He's probably got like this thick, like either inherited from like a grandparent or picked out from a vintage store, big old cardigan, worn over slacks that are probably pleated because of course they are.
Sure. And
like loafers, and you just see kind of like these hunched-ish shoulders of somebody that you kind of reminds you of girls who were tall in high school and were trying not to be. He's kind of got that, a little bit of like
perfect.
This is good. This is real good.
And you see him walking, and you see the telltale dark hair, pretty neatly shorn. And as the camera pans around, you see thick glasses with not just dark frames, but slightly thick lenses that have the effect of magnifying his eyes to be a little bit bigger than they are. And that's what
I'm
totally disguises who he is, y'all.
I'm sorry. 3 separate times you've been describing Clark Kent Superman, and you said, we turn around and we see thick, and I'm like, yeah, he's thick. No, he big.
Thick.
He big.
We all know.
He a big muscle boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but he's thick and try not to be.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm like.
And yet somehow in his trying not to be, it's like just bull in china shop.
It just highlights.
Well, yes. You get a lot of the vibes of like the physicality of like Lenny from Mice and Men. Like might squish a rabbit.
So as you're stepping outside, as you're walking outside, as you are emerging, we've met our Clark Kent. Marcy, introduce us to our Lana. What does Lana's introduction look like?
Oh, man, I think this is Lana, maybe fresh out of college. Lana, maybe taking a couple months off before she decides what she's doing with her career. She's sporting like a short little pixie cut with her red hair. I know different artists do different hair, but I like it when she has red hair. She's got a smattering of freckles across the bridge of her nose on either side of her cheeks. And she's wearing flannel that's like sleeves rolled up. You could take the girl out of the farm, but so she looks a little out of place physically in this big city. She's still like dressed in her like denim. I think maybe she's got a jean jacket tied around her waist. But her attitude is totally like, she's got this. Like, she's super chill being here, standing outside of the Daily Planet, waiting for Clark to show up. He's late, as usual. Maybe she I would say that she's like using her phone, but I'm liking the aesthetic of like, it is a smartphone, but there's something distinctly retro about it. It's almost like if flip phones had become smartphones.
I love that. I love that a ton. That's great.
Video went black.
Why did video go black?
Oh.
Are we back?
Mysterious.
No. Okay, hold on. I can fix this. I don't know why it keeps doing this. It's fine.
You can still hear us though. Theater of the mind. I don't look like Clark anyway.
You don't need to know what I look like.
Well, I was like, yeah.
I'm a city.
Hey, look, I'm on.
All right, we're back. We're back on screen.
Podcast now.
I am manning the ones and zeros today, and I'm doing my best. And
next time it happens,
just wants this to be a podcast.
Just say that Lex Luthor is trying to take us off the air.
Lex Luthor is trying to take us off the air. Damn.
There we go.
All right. Well, we are back on screen. We are around again. So what this is fundamentally is this is a moment of quiet. I think the detail that I want to throw out here is to establish a little bit of Superman's place in the world. As we just kind of get to see, I kind of just want the two of you to describe like a chapter in the life and kind of introduce us to some of the sights and sounds of Metropolis as Lana and Clark hang out and play off of each other a little bit. But I think the thing that we see is we pass by a newspaper article. And we see that there is a report that says, "The Superman of Metropolis strikes again! Brightly clad superhuman strikes fear into the hearts of landlords, executives, and Metropolis's finest police." And like there's a big picture of Luthor like giving an angry speech at a podium, and like the chief of police of Gotham, Chief Dan Turpin, is kind of railing about like this man is undermining the law. This man thinks that he can single-handedly change how things are done in Metropolis. That's not how we do things. We're a city with a respectable lineage. And, we're kind of seeing these on billboards and on the big sort of media displays. There's all these reports about who is the Superman? How can he fly? How is he so strong? Like, what is he capable of? Is he on our side? And then, of course, there's your ordinary, regular people that are all giving news reports like, oh, yes, so people came by to rough up my apartment, and Superman was there to help. He's a hero. He's one of us. And that's the reports that we see as the two of you kind of zip around town.
And I think you get a panel of the two of them in probably standing by like a coffee cart that is at the edge of a park, because as much as Clark would love Lana to see like the big city stuff, I think his inclination is still to like go to the quieter spots for good conversations rather than, have people have to part traffic to go around him. I have a feeling that makes him feel a little self-conscious.
I think this is going to be a running theme with you for tonight. Just how thick is he?
It's not thick. It's just that, when people see big boys coming down the street, they part traffic. And I think since he's like, I'm sorry to put you out, I can also walk around.
Oh yeah,
if somebody did that,
he's a farm boy. He's the epitome of hometown manners. If people are trying to walk around this barrel-chested man, he's like, no, I'm sorry.
He's like, no, I'll go against the wall, but nobody gives him a chance.
This is perfect.
I'm just saying, if anyone ever did that test, like the women were doing, where like they refused to move out of the way of men in traffic and see how many they bump into, nobody would ever bump into Clark Kent. He would move out of the way. Anyway, but they're in a park, getting a coffee from a coffee cart, and I think Clark is just wanting to know all about what's going on with Lana. Is she stressing out about, being an adult?
Oh, she never stresses out about anything. I have wanted to do I feel like she deserves a country accent. I know that technically they don't have any, but
I feel like Lana probably.
It's one of the only ones I can do, so let's just go. It won't be Kentucky.
No, I mean just like Lana. You do whatever you want. I think she's like sipping her coffee, giving pretty typical answers like, yeah, I'm not worried about what's coming next. I'm just gonna take some time, figure out what I want to do. But I mean, this city's pretty exciting. And she pulls one of the papers that's talking about Superman. You got a genuine hero here?
Yeah. Well, it really depends on who you ask, whether or not he's a hero, but
punching landlords. It's a good start.
I mean, yeah, more power. Hey, he's got some stuff he can do to help people. I'm just glad he's doing that. But you know me, I'm just, I don't know, I have a feeling he's is he doing an unpaid internship?
I think he's probably in the bullpen at this. He's probably the bottom of he's probably doing what are the
grunt work?
Yeah, what are the worst,
the filler pieces?
Yeah, he's doing the fill. He's doing dog shows and
yeah. Well, you know me. Hey, I finally turned that internship into a paying gig, and hey, I get to write about all the colorful things in town. Did you know that somebody from insert neighborhood name here baked the largest cookie? No, all year there's apparently a competition to bake the largest cookie, and somebody from Metropolis won. That's the stuff I get to cover. Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not proud of you for doing that, but I know you didn't come all the way out here just to cover cookies.
No, well, I didn't, but you gotta pay your dues and work your way up. And
I'm just saying.
Oh, there's some real good reporters at the Planet, and I just I hope to learn from the best.
This Superman story seems pretty colorful to me.
Oh, they'd never give something like that to someone like me. I feel like that's why
you have to go and put yourself out there. I've been telling you this since high school, Clark. I'm trying. They're not just gonna happen to you. You made your way all the way out here to the big city for a reason.
I don't know. Mama always said if you put your head down and do hard work, someone will notice you and give you that chance.
Lana takes the newspaper that she's now bought and rolls it up and smacks him on the head with it lightly.
What? I mean, like, I'm pretty good, but like that's some quality reporting there.
Come on.
Miss Lois, she's a good writer.
Yeah, but you gotta go in there and show them that you're just as good. Come on, you were just grilling me about what I wanted to do in the big city, but I mean, you don't need to worry about me. I always land on my feet.
You sure do. You sure do. And hey, in that way, you're an inspiration to me too.
Ah, stop it.
But I mean, like, so what do you want to do while you're in town? Like, I'm sure you don't want to go look at the world's, like, America's largest cookie. So
can we eat it?
I mean, you'd think they'd be okay with it, because that thing's gonna go stale after a little bit.
I mean, because if we can eat it, then yeah, I'm interested in it. But if not, then...
Yeah, but it's like one of those oatmeal raisin ones.
Ah.
You okay with that? There's no chocolate chips in there.
You just buried the lead entirely.
I'm sorry. Apparently it's something about structural integrity.
I feel like the panel shifts as they're like arguing about if they can eat this giant cookie or not.
And that feels like a good end. So the last question, and I think we kind of hit that, is this is a moment for the hero to recover. And Superman, tell us what your meeting with Lana reminded you about why you do what you do.
I mean, Lana is a reminder of home, of all the good things, and like just that faith that she showed there in the good that Superman is doing. It's good to hear, because of course there's always the naysayers and the grumblers whenever anyone's doing anything remotely not really vigilante-ish, but kind of, right? And so it's good to hear somebody who he respects and whom he trusts and whose opinion matters approve of his actions while wearing the mask.
I love that. And so that is the first round of anyone can wear the mask. So we are going to throw it back over to you, Marcy. Flip our next card.
Oh, man.
What is the Ace of Spades. Perfect.
Wow.
This is another notable character scene. I love the notable character scenes. Now the question is, do we want to shuffle this? Do we want to shuffle this and draw a number card?
I will leave that up to you, our mystical DM.
Let's draw a number card. Oh my goodness, why are we getting? All right, here we go, and we will shuffle these ones back in the deck.
I'm seeing nothing. I'm not watching this process.
It's all good.
I was curious what Ace actually was, so I wouldn't go.
Ace, just as an explanation for the listener and for you, Ace is a scene with a confidant. Ooh. It is somebody that has secrets about the people in power. It is somebody who could possibly topple someone dangerous and powerful. But that's a story for another day, because we have flipped the 5 of diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And diamonds is in Centennial Park.
All right. So talk to us. Introduce us to the neighborhood of Centennial Park and tell us what the location that we find ourselves is.
I don't think I have a list for that. I can just make this up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Centennial Park, think of it like Central Park here in New York. If you are here in New York, just like I'm in New York, so I was basing it off of that. It's pretty much where you can find people like anywhere from locals to tourists hanging out, joggers, bikers, bird watchers, people having picnics in the park. It's a beautiful early fall day, as we've already set up that it's going on fall, and I think it's pretty crowded. I'm going to flash forward in time. I think we're now towards the evening, so we're dealing with like people that are commuting. Maybe they're walking over towards the monorails or the buses, and some people are just taking their time strolling through the park.
And what Clark, what has brought you to the park, and what has brought you to the park? What is your immediate response when you see the protests and the unrest in the air, and what is your immediate reaction when you see the the mayoral rally currently in place for one Metropolis mayoral candidate, Mr. Lex Luthor?
So Clark is in the park, I think, because he is probably crossing through. Like I mentioned, Clark loves quiet spaces in town, so I have this feeling that even if there were subway or underground transportation, I think Clark likes to take the walk home just to get that peace and quiet and also experience the city that he's moved to that's so different from home. And so I think he's just taking his normal route that cuts through the park. And when he sees this rally and this unrest, his immediate instinct is curiosity. And I think he stands kind of still on the back outskirts of the people, far enough away to where he can, he's not really in the meat of the rally, but he can hear what's going on and he can see everything because he's curious. If of course he's heard about Lex Luthor and his influence on the city, but he's kind of interested to hear what he has to say.
It's nothing good, and it's mostly about you. It is a lot of, as a trusted business leader of this city, I have guided us to a place of prosperity, and I am not about to watch. They are saying that this man is from outer space. They are saying that this man comes from the moon. I'm not about to watch some moon man, some alien tyrant come down and topple the structures of law and order that we in Metropolis believe so heavily in. And every single line about this, the protesters are getting more and more kind of riled up and more kind of frustrated.
I think could I breathe some life into some of these protesters?
Please.
I think that there's a younger woman who's like got a little sweater on and a hoodie up, and she's got like banners that just say like kick all the billionaires out of Metropolis instead. And she's just like screaming at like every time there's like a moment where there could be a response where it's just everyone is welcome in this city. I
love that. And I think what happens, I think the scene kicks into high gear when a bodyguard, like I think this young woman yells something, and a bodyguard,
she yelled tax the rich.
And a bodyguard in an all black suit, somebody that you recognize, Clark, because of some of the reporting that Lois has done. Gosh, she's a good reporter.
Such a good reporter.
Some of the reporting that she's done identifies this man as kind of a controversial figure around town, of sort of Luthor's fixer. A man named John Corbin starts like approaching, and some protesters kind of get in his way, and he shoves them aside, and a slight brawl breaks out. But you notice that when he shoves two people aside, they go tumbling. There is something up with this fixer character. He seems to be a lot stronger and a lot quicker than you were perhaps ready for. And you notice that like people are starting to get riled up around him, and he's kind of cracking his knuckles, and for the briefest second you see his eyes flash green as he kind of cracks his knuckles and starts getting ready to instigate a full-on brawl. As Luthor is, of course, on stage talking about, now, we should be calm and respect. You know, everyone has a right to an opinion, however wrong-minded it might be. I certainly don't want you angry protesters starting a riot at my rally.
This young woman goes up to the fixer that shoved two of her comrades aside and whacks him.
Oh, yeah.
With the sign, like full-blown two-handed coming on down.
And I think at that, like he is looming large, and like you with your super hearing, Clark, can hear the clicking of whirs and like an engine powering up, and you hear kind of an electric buzz start to get louder and louder as it seems like something's about to go real bad unless somebody were to get involved.
Yeah, so Clark immediately
Can anyone else hear the John Williams theme starting? Is that just me?
I was like, what Clark does is uses his thick boy powers to part that crowd. And in what seems like no time at all, he's kind of nonchalantly standing right next to the young protester with the smashy smash. And since he's still Clark in this moment, like he doesn't really have the time to go become Superman, and I think his instinct is Lex would love that. He wants to try to maintain the peace in country boy fashion, where he'll just kind of sidle into view of this guy, and if any arms or things go flying, he's gonna bodily catch them.
I think that what happens is you start clearing a path, you kind of get in the way, and I think what we see, I think the moment that I'm gonna roll dice for is Corbin kind of stands up and leans over this comrade and whispers like, you messed with the wrong person, but at least you're gonna die a hero, and like rears up, and you kind of hear the whir backwards, you hear the pistons get ready to fire. And what does it look like when you, how do you stop his fist mid-punch?
I think what Clark does is trip over his own feet into him.
I love it.
Because it's kind of a jostling crowd, so he's like, whoop, like the one like I got shoved in the back.
And I think what happens is
my
he catches you like kind of in the chest as you stumble, and you tumble backwards, but you're fine. And he looks at his hand, and it's kind of a little broken, and you see that it's kind of mashed up and sparking a little bit. And he looks at his hand and looks at you, looks at Lex and looks back at you, and the urge in his eye is, oh, I gotta kick. Whoever this man is, he took a shot, and I gotta break him.
Clark's immediately, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Somebody pushed me, and I didn't see what was happening. Are you okay, sir? Do you need any help?
The protester's like, hell yeah, get some!
Oh, no, I'm not here to start no fights.
Okay, well, I'll finish it.
Hand on your throat, Clark starts to pick you up, and is like, you see his hand straining as he tries to squeeze, and it's just not working. And he's like,
no, sir, this is just uncalled for. And then Clark like makes a big show up, like, oh!
I think our protester girl is like, sees this obviously, and she's like trying to like get this guy off of Clark, not aware obviously.
And I think Clark is also like, help, anybody help, like,
and like kind of
while like squishing, like I think he's just like a lot of force right on the wrist bones, or where bones would be.
And I'm gonna roll so this is Marcy, remind me, this is Centennial Park.
Centennial Park.
How many dice did I say I'm rolling for Centennial Park?
Yikes, I don't know.
Remind me, what suit did we have tied to Centennial Park?
It is diamonds.
Okay,
Diamonds.
And Pooja, your strong suit, you are the shield of the city, so your strong suit is clubs, correct?
That is correct.
All right, so based on your strong suit and your relation to this particular neighborhood determines how many dice I'm going to roll. You are going to stop this threat. You are going to stop this gentleman. You are going to stop Mr. Corbin. But how well you do and how many people you save, and if you are able to save everyone, or if there's a price you have to pay, is determined by the dice that I'm about to roll right now. Woo-hoo. Because Centennial Park is not your neighborhood, it's not where you're most comfortable, I'm rolling 1d6, and based on the number of that result from 1 to 6 is going to tell me what number that is going to tell me what how well you do at your job. Sweet. Oh, and that is a 4. So you save the day. You rise to the occasion and get to describe. So I'm going to describe what's about to happen. You kind of effortlessly crush his hand. He steps back. He is overwhelmed as protesters are piling on him. Luthor kind of half cackling it, like barely keeping together. Like, well, no, come on, obviously. Oh my God, these brutes are attacking my bodyguard is trying to set my life is in danger. I have to go. I have to leave.
I think mid swing with this one girl, like she just like flips off like Lex from the stage before like pile driving in.
What happened to civility?
And
so much for tolerance.
Clark is Homer Simpsoning out of that. He's just going backwards.
And Luthor, Mercy shuffles him off, and they make their way as kind of stands back and does the cool villain thing, Corbin, where he's hunched and does the throw, and everybody kind of tumbles. And as he does that, his hand like fully kind of falls off, and there's Clark, you notice very specifically there are green sparks and wires coming off of the wiring of his hand, and suddenly you don't feel so good. Suddenly you don't feel so great as this energy that seems to be powering this robot man, the cyborg. You're not quite sure, but there's an energy here that seems to have you not feeling so good, and you're gonna have to end this quickly. Let me ask you this: have you encountered kryptonite before?
I think probably once somewhere out near home.
So this is then that you get
like near the wreckage or something.
You get the distinct. You practically flash back to that moment that you were among the wreckage, and you're like when you like collapsed and you could barely breathe. You feel like a moment of that. It's not as strong as when you were exposed to it pure, but you're like, oh no, this is whatever that thing was. As he gears up and tries to like smash you with his like broken hand that is like flashing this green lightning.
I think Clark immediately starts feeling sick, and but he also can't just leave. He needs to get this guy out of this crowd. I think he's going to try to like grit his teeth and like football style tackle this guy out of the crowd where he's more, because yes, the protesters they don't know what they're up against. And
right.
So this guy, he just wants to remove him because he has a feeling that if he can get him out of the crowd, then he'll go with Lex. So Lex is already leaving.
I think that's exactly what happens. You kind of barrel him through this crowd, and you land with this big thud. And for a moment, you feel like you're gonna heave and like you can't breathe all at once, because for a moment, like his chest cracks, and you see his heart as this pulsing green rock. That is the exact rock that you saw at that wreckage all those years ago. And he's kind of like he's pulsating, and he sees that his heart is exposed. He looks around. He kind of shoves you off with his still intact hand, like, and you, because you're in a weakened state, kind of go flying as he kind of rushes towards Lex's car, and the three of them drive off, and you have managed to save the day and protect all of these people.
Yeah, Clark's just gonna stay on the ground there, coughing and wheezing, completely, which, you know, because he's Clark, that wasn't an easy fight for him, and I think he's just like he's gonna look around to see how people are looking at him, and
I feel like the protester girl like offers a hand. That was so badass.
You did a real good job there. Well, thank you so much for helping me out. I think if you hadn't distracted him, he might have, crushed my windpipe or something.
Hey, if more people would just jump in like that when there was like something worth fighting for, I don't think we'd be in this mess with freaking Lex Luthor as a candidate for the city.
I agree. I mean, at least, hey, there's I think more people feel the way you do than go for this guy, hopefully.
Hey, if you ever want to come to one of our meetings, and she hands Clark a pamphlet.
Thanks so much.
Yes, good.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Hell yeah!
All
you
right.
too.
And with that,
I think he just walks away.
With that, we have ended our issue, and Superman, you have saved the day, which means your renown goes up by 1, which I will explain what that means later in the game. Let's go ahead and draw our next card.
Okay. I've got 3 of these are spades.
Those are spades. Those are spades and not clubs. I know.
So
I know the difference.
See, now you've got me doing it. So we're back in New Troy. Because those are spades.
All right. Yeah.
Yes,
Where
correct?
are we? Where are we in New Troy? Yeah. Spades are New Troy. Where are we in New Troy?
Ooh, great question. Let me not stall for time and tell you exactly where we are. I think we are at, I just want to double check something. We are on the Avenue of Tomorrow.
Oh, the Avenue of Tomorrow.
It's a fun area. Whole bunch of things over here. This is like the main thoroughfare of like Midtown, essentially, of Metropolis. There's a ton of the research centers that are here. We've even got a Wayne Tech building in the city. There's a Stag Enterprises building. This is like the business hub of Metropolis.
And I think what we encounter in this space, it's all bright lights, it's giant media displays. I think what we encounter is I am going to throw out. I'm running my head of all the great Superman villains to fill out. So the mechanic here is that I've got a list from 2 to 10, and every time we draw a card, I fill in that number and I assign it a thing. I'm running through the list of great Superman villains. I'm gonna go with the one that makes me the happiest. I know what I'm gonna write down for the threat.
I can't wait to hear it.
The one that makes me the happiest, especially for this space, for the Avenue of Tomorrow, is there is an explosion outside of a laboratory. It might be Star Labs, it might be something else, but there's an explosion outside of a laboratory. Clark, you are at work at this moment. Talk to me about what's going on in your workday.
I think Clark's in the bullpen. Well, usually he's in the bullpen, but I think at this point he has probably moved over to talk or let's be real, trail Lois, because he's probably finished his assigned story for the day of some fluff piece that didn't matter about. Well, it was probably a cute little thing about some grandma finding a winning lottery ticket or something like that. And he's done it, and so he's now, his usual thing is to go offer and help Lois with research and everything else that she does with the guise of learning. So yeah, you see him probably looking at maybe some files that she's left behind, trying to help put things together. I don't know where she is right now, but at least Clark's hanging around her desk because she's got a bigger spread, I'm assuming.
And I think the second you walk over there, Marcy, I'm gonna throw this to you because I know that you and I both want to know what Lois does in this moment.
My girl.
What is Lois doing when she gets a panicked call from her father?
Lois Lane, reporter extraordinaire.
What is she doing? What is she doing when Smallville swings by her desk in the moment before she gets a call from her father?
She is just finishing typing up yet another article. She's still hunting for that second Pulitzer. She does have one, and I will remind people of this.
She already has it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Lois Lane be awesome all the time.
What a journalist.
Hopper has demanded we hydrate.
Oh, I gotta get water from the other room. I'll hydrate after this turn.
I've been hydrating with alcohol. That counts.
You can hydrate with whatever you want.
Yeah, Lois Lane, dark hair pulled back. She's got her pencil chewed to shreds in her mouth as she's frantically typing on a laptop that I want to say almost looks like a typewriter because I'm obsessed with this retro tech that I'm creating in my head.
Have you seen the ones that they have it's you can put an iPad in it, but the keyboard looks like a typewriter?
I want one of those so badly. She, right before the phone rings, she's frantically typing up the protests that went down the other day in Centennial Park. And she's shouting, just Jimmy, how do you spell propaganda? Never mind, I'll look it up myself. And then she gets the phone call and she picks it up you got Lois. She's leaning against it as she continues to type.
Hi, it's Dad. It's General. It's your father.
Dad, I know it's you.
It's your father. Lois, it's Dad.
Yes, we've established that you are my father. What's going on? You don't really call me during work hours.
You need to get out of town.
What? Why?
Quickly, as soon as you can get out of town, you need to get out of town.
Dad, sounds like there's something interesting going on.
Listen,
you want to tell me what it is?
I mainly just wanted to call and tell you that you need to get out of town, and then I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let them do this. We're gonna try and make this right. But
are you okay?
I'm fine. We'll get you a new monkey. It's great. It's fine. And at that moment there is an explosion down the street on the Avenue of Tomorrow. Star Labs, the door bursts open.
Dad, I gotta go. There's a story breaking.
No, that's what...
She hangs up and she grabs what counts as a tablet and takes a chewed up pencil out of her mouth, like some of her the side of her lips is like covered in like the graphite, and grabs a pad of paper and she books it initially, runs back, grabs her coat, and then returns like zooming for the elevators.
And I think Clark, what are you doing in this moment?
Clark is just gonna, what he's gonna do first is go straight to the window to look out to see what it is.
Clark, I don't know how to tell you this. There's really there's no real reasonable way to describe a giant gorilla or like a giant ape. There's no way to describe like a super gigantic ape. There's just simply no way to describe that. But there's giant goddamn ape walking through town.
All right. Okay. So Clark is going to take a fire exit, and who you see emerge from the fire exit is ya boy. Soup.
Yeah.
You see him in this is a lo-fi version of Soups. So you probably see him in some just kind of I really loved the what is it, Action Comics?
Yeah, with the Superman in blue jeans, my
with the blue
absolute
jeans.
favorite.
I'm gonna ignore that you said, what is it, Action Comics?
Listen, man. I've been watching documentaries about MLMs. That's taken up way too much of my brain power.
Wow.
So, no, it's so good. It's so juicy. Watch it. But denim doesn't seem really like steampunky to me, and so I think it's more like blue pants of some sort and a cotton t-shirt with the logo, of course. And you just see this guy in like really comfortable clothing, standing tall and proud, and probably like at cumulative height, like about standing 2.5 inches taller than Clark, I have to say. If you unfold that spine. And he just comes running out, one eye looking for the gorilla, and the one eye looking for Lois.
So Lois is booking it. She's like stopped outside and sees it and is like staring, but like writing at the same time.
Writing notes. Brown,
yeah, I think honestly,
hair,
if you were to look at
eyes.
her, if you were to look at what she was actually writing, it's like a bunch of bad headlines, like giant ape goes bananas in downtown. Monkey business happening in Midtown.
Now, Lois,
it's real bad.
Lois, you do remember this ape from when you were a child. This an ape that your father was around. This is Bibbo. This is Bibbo the ape. An ape that has been blasted. That was a science experiment by Star Labs that has been blasted with radiation and is rapidly growing larger and larger. Soups, you're gonna have to figure out a way to like safely get this giant ape out of the city.
Good God. I think what is he? Is the ape rampaging? What's he doing?
Very confusedly, like if you like kind of the way that I would describe it is it's not necessarily like it's maliciously attacking anything. It's on a bit of a rampage, but it's not like it's not maliciously attacking anything. It's you can tell you're a farm boy. Like you were raised on a Smallville farm. This is a scared cornered animal that like suddenly has woken up and is very, very large. And if you've ever seen just like a large animal, they're not graceful. It's a giant this is a giant cow, and like you the
rampage is because of body size, not because of intention.
And confusion of like it does not know how big it is, right? Like it does not know what it's doing. And but you do see a bunch of military vehicles pulling up, and so like your responsibility is as much to this sweet innocent animal as it is the people that it's putting in danger.
Yeah. So I think what Clark immediately does is if there's like a parking garage, like a parking structure, he's going to this Superman cannot fly, and so but he's gonna parkour like kind of climb up his way, and he wants to get to the top of the parking structure, which let's say it's tall enough to where he can be kind of eye level with this guy, and he's just gonna call out to it like, "Hey buddy, over here!" And he's just trying to like be, but he's not trying to be aggressive.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be like, hey, buddy, over here.
You're talking to him like you'd talk to a farm animal. Sure.
Yeah. Like, he's basically gonna. Clark is going to do what you would do with like a freaked out bucking horse. You know?
Yeah.
And just kind of try to
just chat with
soothe it and calm it and be like, you're okay. Ooh, it must be interesting being so big all of a sudden, but you're okay. You got this.
And I think the giant ape kind of. I'm gonna roll my dice here to see how well how well your plan is going to work. I do love it. I want to just say that I love this plan with all of my heart, and this is exactly how I would want Superman to solve this, and it makes me very happy. Oh, fabulous! I rolled a 2 and a 6. So that means you're going to get a point of inspiration. I'll explain what that does after this round, but you get a point of inspiration and describe to me like how this works better than you can expect. Describe to me how this moment, not only do you save the day, but how do you come across looking like a larger than life hero that you are.
I think something about Clark's tone, and maybe it's the Kryptonian undertones he's putting into it or something. There's just something about the tone of his voice that reaches through the panic of Bibbo.
Bibbo.
And I think,
or Beppo.
Bibbo,
hold on. I have to remember. Hold on.
I Googled and apparently Bibbo did come up.
This
Bibbo
is a
Bibowski.
name I've only ever read. So.
It's Bibbo Bibowski.
Bibbo Bibowski. So Bibbo Bibowski is a different character than is
Superman's. Oh, no.
He's Superman's friend who works at the dock. Sorry. This is Titano the Super Ape.
Oh, okay. So, given that I think Soups overheard General Lane saying we'll get you another pet monkey, and so I think Clark knows that this animal at some point was used to humans, was used to interacting with people, has probably received soothing human consolation that pets do, and so I think that being spoken to like a cherished pet or like a cherished member of the family and not just like a rampaging monster like all the people screaming down the street, I think that kind of catches Titano's attention. And when Clark continues to not panic and just soothe, I think his body language is strong and confident but not aggressive, so I think it just strikes all the right notes of
Here's the question that I want to throw out, because I think this is exactly working, and we're watching Titano just like, I think kind of like Jareet does the King Kong reaches a giant finger and just kind of scrubs your hair a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's helicopters filming this, and we're seeing, the Superman of Metropolis, who to this point has been roughing up landlords and executives, talking to a giant ape, and like I think General Lane in a moment of calm is like, just let's see what he does. Let's see
Lois
this
is
out.
taking furious notes.
What's Lois's reaction to seeing all of this? That's what I want to know.
That's
what the kind of trash that I am cares about.
This is gonna be one of the best stories. Like, she is all over. She's like trying to angle her way like closer into like the danger zone as she does, because it's a better view. And she's like shouting at Jimmy Olsen, who is like standing further back like a sensible person, who's like with the camera, and she's like, "Come here. You gotta get the shot. Get the shot.
Miss Lane, I am trying as hard as I can. Please stop yelling at me." All right, I got the shot.
And she's just furiously note-taking every action that Superman has been doing since he came on the scene.
I love it. I love it so much. And I think like Superman, you are able to kind of guide this thing towards the water, towards the bay. And I think General Lane sees this unfolding, and he's like, can we get a transport? I don't know, an aircraft carrier, something that can fit a giant ape. I am surrounded by incompetence. I think there's the only interaction that I think the Lanes have is walks by, looks at Lois, and does not even say anything. Hello, just I don't know how we do. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we
he's walking by like head down. She's walking right past him, furiously writing.
And they just both look at each other. Why are we the only ones that know what we're doing?
I love this version of General Lane.
And they pull up like a boat, like a barge, and like Titano goes on it and like sits. And Superman, you sit with Titano. They go out to water. You eventually jump away. Titano gives you a very friendly wave, and that's it.
As you're parkouring away, you definitely have like Lois being like, "Wait, Superman, can I get an exclusive?" And then you're gone.
Yeah,
damn it.
And that's the end of the issue. I think we watched Titano. I think we get one panel of Titano at like an offsea island like base. But like just sitting, and it's like literally General Lane sitting on the other side of it going, Titano good, Titano friend.
Is he doing some sign language?
Titano love Titano. And it's just the two of them having this moment. Lois, you get a picture on your phone of General Lane sitting in Titano's hand, giving a thumbs up, and just says, "It's all good."
Just a text, please stop experimenting on my monkey.
No promises, but all good. And that's the end of the issue. Superman, you did so well. You saved the day. You had a big hero moment, which means you gain a point of inspiration. Inspiration is a token that you can spend at any time. You declare you want to spend it either when you take an injury to immediately ignore or recover from that injury, or when I am rolling dice, anytime I am about to roll dice to see how well you save the day, you can demand that I roll an extra dice.
Ooh.
So that's what you get by rising above. You've inspired the people. I think there's an undeniable wave, probably led by Lois Lane, of like, Superman is a hero. Superman stopped a thing that was larger than all of us. And, Lex is furious. The papers are furious. Turpin's angry about this, but like, there is no way to deny that, like, you are not the angry Batman vigilante. You're not that lunatic from Gotham. You've got a heart. And I think...
I'm sorry, this Clark is incredibly soft. He's so soft.
Do not apologize for this. This is canon, baby.
This is all canon.
Love it. He's not going to destroy Metropolis in the final scene, hopefully.
We don't talk about that.
Listen, it's the fandom we're trying to undo.
We're making it work. We're making it work.
We're reclaiming.
All
right.
And with that, do you want to pull our next card?
Yeah. All right. We got a Joker in play.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we are going to leave it at that and take a break, but I will read from the book to explain what happens with the Joker. With the Joker, it is here that the hero is confronted at last by the villain, who makes themselves known, striking deep in the heart of the hero. There is a battle that happens, lives are lost, destruction spreads, and hero, you are beaten back for now. You will come back. Heroes always do, but this is your downfall. After we come back from a break, we will meet our villain. I have some questions for all of us. We will meet our villain. We will damage the city to a certain degree, and the villain will make themselves known in all of their big glorious extravagance. And then we will play through a few more rounds of the game, and once we kind of reach the natural end of the stream, we will have our uprising. Hero, you will stand against that villain. You will win, but first you've got to suffer a little bit. Yeah. So like I said, we have flipped the Joker, which means this is the downfall. This is the moment where the villain of the story becomes apparent. I know exactly who I want the villain to be, so I am going to tweak these questions a little bit. And I'm going to give us a little bit of a lead into the story as I get ready to ask us all some kind of questions that are going to shape this particular iteration. I think what we see is we follow Luthor's car from earlier, from the political rally. We follow that car back. We see brief shots of Star Labs where Titano, the super ape, was turned gigantic, and Luthor is walking around this sort of sub-basement laboratory ranting to himself about, like, that was supposed to work. That was supposed to work. He was supposed to be unstoppable. That you promised me that the Metallo project was going to be foolproof. you promised me. Why wasn't it foolproof? And like is walking around and is talking to no one. Like is just in this long, empty metallic hallway and is just mumbling these accusations. And we cut over to Star Labs where people are kind of spinning in their chair, and suddenly all the lights turn out. In the tiny basement underneath Lex Corp. And Lex stops and goes, "Do you have to be so dramatic?" And suddenly, like, a screen pops up in front of him with just 3 dots connected together. And the same dots appear across Star Labs. The same dots appear across several of the computers in the Daily Planet. These 3 dots pop up, and a voice just says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking to me? I was manning larger operations." Looks like, "What are you talking about, manning larger operations?" "Oh, I've moved past the need for you, Luthor. I no longer have any. You have given me the resources that I need to get a foothold. I no longer need you." And Luthor kind of mutters, "Brainiac, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, Brainiac. We had a deal. You need me. I can shut this whole operation down." And that is where we kind of cut, because I think all the lights turn out again, and there is a blackout across Metropolis, and that is where we begin our downfall. Which brings me to our questions. I have some questions to ask the hero in the city before I answer some questions as the villain. Hero, what piece of yourself most scares you, and how do you see that amplified in the villain?
I think Clark is probably most scared about going too far in terms of violence, and actually hurting people too much. Ooh.
Yep, we're disappearing. We're coming back.
Yep.
Every time I minimize the window, it messes up. I know what it is, and I just got to go in and fix it. All right.
Podcast time. But yes, I think his fear is not having control, like losing control of his own strength.
I love that. How do you see that? How do you see that fear manifested in? How will you see that fear manifested in the alien technology of the formerly Kryptonian supercomputer turned destructive, malevolent cosmic presence known as Brainiac?
Well, I think like it's strength and power, and sure, the power is a little bit different, but Kryptonian power gone uncontrolled and unstopped can cause mass destruction if wielded by the wrong hands. And so I think that's exactly what happens. Is Brainiac can cause unfettered damage, destruction. And unfortunately, my guess is, because we're terrorizing Clark in this moment, that it's probably going to be unleashed in parts of town that he cares about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regular people, poor people, like they're the ones who are going to suffer the most when Brainiac goes ham. What's our district with the peeps? I can't remember what his home turf is. What do we decide?
Bakersville? Is it Bakersville?
Southside.
We have
Slums,
Southside
and Queensland Park. Queensland Park, I think.
Queensland Park is the historic district, and Southside Slums is the working class.
I think Queensland Park is where I said is Queensland Park has been a side club.
That's kind of the historical district of town, and that's kind of where you've kind of settled.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. My second question for you is, what weakness are you afraid will be discovered, either literal or metaphorical, and how does Brainiac use it?
I think, well, in a classic story, it would have to be kryptonite, but I wanted to say not non-classic story. Let's make it a human story. And maybe let's just bring Lois back, because I live for the drama. And so I think maybe he discovers that Lois has been the one writing a lot of stories about Clark. If she's been doing a lot of the coverage, like the good detailed coverage, the coverage that shows that Superman tends to show up when bad things are happening around Lois Lane. Let's see if we can make Superman show up by doing bad things around Lois Lane.
I like that a lot. Metropolis, I have 2 questions for you.
All right.
What part of Superman most scares you? How is the villain the worst version of that?
The unknowable. I think the worst part, I'm going to say the worst parts of the city are scared of the foreigner in their midst, as is always the case. And the best parts of the city welcome it. But even within those best parts of the city, they still don't really know a lot about Superman. These are the early days. He hasn't really made a public statement yet. He hasn't done his famous interview with Lois Lane yet. Nobody really knows who he is and what he really wants. The people that he's helped, they're grateful for the help, but they still don't know ultimately if he has an angle, who does he work for. He can't just be doing this because he's just doing it alone, right? There's got to be something else going for it. So I think with Brainiac, you have, again, with what Pooja said, that unfettered power that doesn't come from Earth, that nobody would know how to control, or even, it's very eldritch. I've always been freaked out about Brainiac too as a longtime reader. It's just it really is when it's done right, it's just pure cosmic horror of just, you cannot conceive of this intelligence and how it was built and what it's doing and what it wants.
I love it. My second question for you is, what is your biggest fear for the city, and how does Brainiac embody that?
I want to protect the vulnerable parts of the city, and I feel like Brainiac is an entity that clearly wants to take control. It's working with Lex, and therefore I think the most vulnerable are on the line. I think there's this desire to take the sheen off of the city of tomorrow, and it might do that.
I love that. So my 3 questions: what power do you crave, and how are you going to seize it? This is my metaphorical city in a bottle. This is my example of what Brainiac's Earth could be. I have allied myself with the people in power. I have entertained those who think that they can control the world, while I, the one entity that can truly control the world, have put myself in place. Every nonsensical Luthor LexCorp branded piece of electronics, every drone delivering books, every self-checkout bodega, every LexCorp locker,
I thought this was supposed to be fictional.
all of these things were yes, Luthor putting them in place so he could put his face on things, but that's child's play. When I reveal that means that my entity, my presence, my being is inside every facet of this city. Luthor has spent months, years building this city in his image, but he does not realize that I have merely been allowing him to put a sheet of wallpaper and a sheet of paint over the glorious visage of Brainiac that he has been luxuriously crafting into this city. My next question: what insurmountable odds will the hero have to overcome to defeat you? Clark Kent will have to literally defeat the city of Metropolis if he wants to defeat Brainiac. Does he care about his city, or does he care about the world? Because the truth is, I want Kal-El to succeed here. I want there to be a Kryptonian champion. I want there to be a champion of Brainiac. But the truth is, he has to realize that he is not a simple person living in a loft in Queensland Park. He is the chosen heir of this miserable planet, and I'm going to force him to realize that by forcing him to burn this city to the ground. And lastly, what hidden weakness do I hope the hero never finds? This is a little bit of a twist from what we traditionally get from Brainiac, but I think it's a good twist given everything that I've said so far. I think the twist I'm going to throw in is, I actually did love Krypton. I actually loved the place that we came from. I'm leaning hard on the kind of DCAU interpretation of Brainiac as the computer of the planet. But unlike that kind of interpretation where it was very like, I don't know, the planet died. I don't give a rat's ass. I like the idea that like I was built by people that had a love of the planet, and I watched all of these people die. I liked those people.
Wow.
The idea of an AI that was sympathetic to the people that it was surrounded by is very compelling, especially when those people die. And I'm like, I have to build this new place in its image. I have to do right by those people by building a new Krypton, a better Krypton. Now that I know how Krypton fell, I can fix that. But to do that, I need a champion. I need Kal-El to lead this. I need you to step into this role and take the throne as the overlord of this planet, because we are going to fix things. We are going to fix this world together. We have a glorious purpose, you and and we are going to... I simply have to unravel you from your human constraints and from your pitiful relationships in order for you to realize your true potential.
Thanks, I hate it.
I love it.
Wow, that hurt me in my heart place.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
That's so compelling. I want an actual comic about that, though.
I love and so I think what happens is like, Metallo is getting worked on. His hand is getting replaced, and suddenly like the lights go out, and Luthor is like rambling about like, John, you need to unplug yourself. I think something's about to go wrong. And John, in Brainiac's voice, just mutters, "Oh, it's too late, Mr. Luthor. Your pathetic attempts at subterfuge are going to do no good here." And gets up, and like we see Luthor just fly through a doorway and into a wall and collapse onto the floor.
Oh, I'm good with that. That's nice.
And Metallo starts walking out fully, this is my content warning for body horror, but fully like skin falling off and revealing the Terminator body underneath, just kind of walking fully Terminator, as other identical Terminator style Metallos all kind of walk alongside him, and they all kind of emerge out of various corridors. And the thing that we see emerging out of LexCorp, out of the front doors of LexCorp, is straight up the opening montage of Terminator. And then what happens is all of those technology pieces I described before, that Brainiac symbol lights up, and suddenly tentacles start coming out, and you get the lockers that have tentacles and are crawling around, and the city is coming to life around these Metallo androids, as stealing a visual from Justice League, because it's too good, as the gigantic skull ship flying out of LexCorp headquarters, because it's just the coolest. And Clark, you are watching all of this happen. What do you do?
I think, so Clark is watching this happen where?
Where are, I'm going to throw that back to you. Where are you when this is happening?
My guess is work, because I want him to be near computers, and so that just seems to be the most likely place. He's at the Daily Planet, and I think he sees the monitor start developing tentacles, I guess.
I think the monitor shorts out, the Brainiac symbol appears, and I think what happens is behind you hear chaos break out, and behind you as like other computers start growing tentacles, and Jimmy is chased by 4 computers.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry for using Twitter.
And I think it's probably late in the day, so most people have gone home, except those people like trying to finish up their stories. So like I just picture it's dark outside.
Lois is absolutely yeeting a monitor.
Yeah, I think
just full blown like grabbed one and just like threw it at a bunch of the other tentacle crawling things, and just like throws her phone out. It's like, all right, we're going analog.
I think Clark is immediately going to run and try to grab Jimmy, like kind of grab Jimmy and like chuck him under a table. And if it's just the 3 of them on the floor, he's gonna yell out, "Lois, I think we should get out of here. There's too many of them."
Are you kidding me? If we leave right now, we're gonna miss the entire story. Something is going on. Help me think of a good headline for that one.
I think it's happening everywhere. If they can hear sounds from like outside and screaming and stuff.
You are seeing you're seeing Metallos crawl on walls and like.
Lois like looks out the window. Okay, we can leave now.
And I think as you're leaving, Clark, your computer pops up with you notice your computer's the one that hasn't moved, and your computer pops up with the Brainiac symbol, and it's just there's a crisis. Obviously, this calls for Superman. Wherever can we find him?
Shit. I think we probably cut to like Jimmy and Lois exiting the building, and like when Clark was there, he's like, "Oh crap! Hold on, I forgot my phone." He's just gonna run back in.
You just hear Lois like, "Clark, what are you talking about?"
Smallville.
But when they're on this,
Mr. Kent, I could. Okay. Could you grab my gum? I ate gum. It's like a whole pack. I paid $2 for that gum. I didn't want. Okay, it's fine.
Gotta have fresh breath for the computers. And I think Clark will indeed emerge on the street. Like, I think he probably just, if you had to break it down into human terms, probably like takes another emergency exit out, wraps around the block so that he approaches, he runs past Lois and Jimmy on the street. And I think he's going to try to figure out where this is coming from, if anything. Like,
I think you figure it. I think like as you're doing this, you're hearing this voice monologue to you from various devices, right? You're hearing this and being like, look how easily this happened, Kal-El. Look how easily these people that you claim to defend failed. Look how easily they let me do this to them. Are these the people that you feel like you need to shepherd into the sun? What is your end game here? You are Kryptonian royalty. You do not have to tolerate this. You are wasting your potential, and I'm going to show you that. And I think the closing beat here is you hear all of this, and then you see the gigantic spaceship like burst into the sky and like is floating ahead of you. And you're just like, oh no.
No. Yes, we're going in. Yeah. Clark has feelings.
Where did I drop that dice? It's gone now. Oh well, it's fine. I'll figure it out. Find it later. All right.
Yeah, Clark's heading in.
All right, you head inside and you punch your way through. Lois is screaming at you from the ground. You punch your way through and you find it's actually really easy, and there is just literally like a single slightly beefier Metallo, like slightly more like decked out, actually kind of in Kryptonian like loungewear, or like that kind of Kryptonian like classical garb that you see Jor-El wear in the Krypton segments. Clearly a robot, but sitting in a chair, and looks around and goes, "So you've arrived. So you've heard my message and you've decided to come negotiate."
Why are you doing this? What did these people do to you?
They did nothing, Clark. They've had 20,000 years and they did nothing. Look at what they've done. They're infants. Do you know what Krypton did in 20,000 years? We built the Phantom Zone, Clark. Kal-El, we built the future. You could do this. You could be this. I want this for you. And he steps up and walks, and there's just like a throne and a control like around the bridge. Take your spot, Clark. I don't want to have to continue to hurt this city, but I will if I have to. You have to know that this is your destiny. Nothing down there is waiting for you. This is what is waiting for you.
But I don't want a great destiny. Look at what a great destiny did to my home. And not every civilization needs to be great to be worthy.
You're so young. You have so much to learn. I look forward to teaching you. 3 Metallos come out and open their chests immediately and blast you with kryptonite lasers from their chest, and then your half-dead body is thrown out of an air chute, crashing to the ground. You crash in a crater. The ship just flies overhead. And by all rights, it appears that Superman has been beaten. Mm-hmm. And that is your downfall.
He just wants to protect these people.
So...
Why are you laughing?
The way you said it.
So, what happens now is I am going to, since I have the deck of cards in front of me, I'm going to discard the top 2 cards off of the deck. Because you saved the day twice, your renown is 2. That's how many cards I pull off of the deck. The bigger a hero you are, the more cards I throw away. I am now going to say that we are now going to play the game. Actually, let me pop open the book and remind myself what happens. Yeah, so I have caused there is irreparable harm done to the city. I have discarded some cards. Those cards will never come back. Those cards are in the graveyard. Those cards, there's the possibility of shuffling, but like that shuffling can never be done to those cards. Those cards are out of play forever. That damage can never fully be recovered. So now what happens is I ask the hero and the villain to take a moment of silence for your city, for the damage that has been done, and think about what has to happen next. And then I'm gonna hand it over to the city for what has to happen immediately after this. City, when you're ready, I want you to... I'm going to put this in front of you. When you're ready, I want you to say something to the hero. I want you to tell the hero why they need to come back. I want you to tell them why you need them to come back and to undo this threat. You have to tell them why you need them and why you believe in them. This can be through whatever characters you want them to be. I have a small feeling in my gut that I know what character is going to tell them this, but this can be through whichever characters you want to tell them this, but this is your moment to remind the hero what they have done for you, they have protected, who they have protected, what they have done for you, and why you need them to save the day at the end of the day. Like, this is your moment to encourage the hero and give them the strength to do what they need to do to save the day.
I think that ultimately who finds you in this crater are some of the people that are still remaining in the city. I think there's a lot of people that are trying to flee actively. It's unclear how much time has passed. I think these are the ordinary people in the city, the ones that don't have the resources to get out, the ones that never would. And they find there's so many people that are hovering around this crater, like, don't go in there, it's way too dangerous, what are you doing? Like, you have no idea what happened. And I think in the end, it's really one of the protesters definitely climbs down, that you would have recognized from that afternoon in Centennial Park. And once one person goes in, it just sort of, it's like the dam breaking. A whole bunch of other people go in. Everyone's like, he needs our help this time. And suddenly it's like the most natural thing in the world. Everyone is going in, and these are all the people that some of them you may recognize even from your neighborhood. Others are from Southside. These are like the working class people of the city. And they all form a little chain as they're going down into this crater to help pull Superman up. Because ultimately, no one's going to come back for them. The people with means are going to leave. But these are the ones that will stay to fight for their city when nobody else is going to bother.
I love that.
I love it so much.
Hero, when you're ready. Traditionally, I would have you shuffle the last Joker into the deck, but it's already shuffled in there. So instead, I will simply ask you, when you are ready, stand up, promise the city that you won't let them down, and describe how you come back to action. And then what we'll do from there is we'll play through a few more rounds of the game as normal in sort of the post-Brainiac Metropolis, and then when we're ready, we will declare that it is time for the uprising, and we'll have our final showdown.
Alrighty. I think almost like, not really almost dying, but like a completely beaten and broken Kal-El is brought. I think he wakes up kind of around the time where all of these people are offering him their hand, and I think he sees them covered in dirt and mud and grime, just willing to get in there and pull them out. And in that moment, even though he had not exactly lost faith, it kind of reaffirms to him that this is what being worthy is. He doesn't these are the people that he's out to help. He doesn't, not that, Brainiac is just wrong, and these people deserve to be protected because no one's on the, even without anyone on their side, they don't stop fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Clark is as inspired, or Kal-El is as inspired by them as they find solace in him. And I think he's just like, how can I give up a fight when none of these people who have nothing like I do on their side will not give up the fight? And so he re-avows his conviction to defend the defenseless.
Hell yes. All right. We are gonna pull a few more cards, since we're gonna pull a few more cards, and then when it's time to pull when it's time, we'll declare the uprising and we'll kick off the end game. But for now, Marcy, draw us the next card. We are playing. The difference now is that instead of just describing the city, we are gonna describe the city as it has been damaged. And I think the detail that I want to throw out is, I think there is a Metallo manhunt for Superman, right? Like, there are Metallos patrolling the streets. This gigantic ship is floating overhead. There are the various computers and pieces of electronics are periodically skidding around like spiders. It is this weird sort of like robotic alien police state that is like it is floating around, and like they are actively like hunting for Superman. And the people of Metropolis are making active effort to just be like, I don't know, I haven't seen him. He died. Superman dead.
He's gone.
Oh, I had this image of like Superman being somewhere and like Metallo's coming and people just be like, get under the table. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. We've got the 6 of clubs. The clubs is Queensland.
Clubs is Queensland. That is your
that
neighborhood.
Is Clark Kent's neighborhood. Yeah, this is the historic district of Metropolis in some settings. I mean, it is just, some of these like old buildings are completely like desolate right now. There's patrols frequently in this area, I think, because it's safe to say that Brainiac knows exactly where Clark Kent used to live. The patrols are even worse in Queensland Park. And there's like a small militia resistance movement that has sprouted up in the days like past, that are like running information and intel and supplies back and forth. I think some of them have taken up some residence in some of like the old historic synagogues. And you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna say synagogues. This is my Superman now.
Yeah.
There's a Jewish person that's manning this, and some of the older tenement buildings that used to be there, and that is now like a converted museum. And I think it's been converted yet again into a safe house.
And I think what is happening here is we're in this safe house. I think there are Metallos in the streets, and I think what we find is, I'm trying to decide who I think is, so the 6 I've got listed as corporate greed, and I'm trying to decide who I think, because I which I specifically love, this, here's the scenario that I'm thinking. Clark, there is someone here who is, I'm gonna say it's specifically, Intergang. Intergang, a criminal outfit known for using unexplainable alien technology, has set up like a smuggling protection bracket, a taxation bracket. They are hoarding and they are profiteering and they are keeping things away from people. And you know what you are seeing this out of the window of this safe house as two Metallos walk by, and you're like kind of hidden by these people. You also see like across the street like a shopkeep is kind of being like hassled and clearly does not have the money to pay off this protection racket. And one of these organized crime. One of these goons pulls out like what is a pretty scary looking laser rifle, but scary in a much different way than like the Metallo technology. Like it's clearly not Brainiac tech. It's something weird and different. It is a weird thing, but like it is clearly like this is I think the first you're seeing that like this criminal outfit has established a foothold throughout the kind of the city, and particularly in Queensland Park, of kind of taking advantage of the scarcities of this situation. What do you do in this moment?
Clark is going to, in what's a really funny, I think this is just an amusing visual. I just picture Clark like crouching down and like doing like the crouch, run, crouch. He's gonna cross the street, but there's Metallos and he doesn't want to be seen by them. So you see like, I mean, he very poorly hides his thickness behind like a trash can, and then you see him trying to hide behind like a lamppost. And he's gonna go intercede.
All right. There are about five of these people like hassling people, and I think you pretty effortlessly take down, like you kind of dive in and tackle one of them and you pretty effortlessly take them down, right? Like they're not exactly expecting threats because they haven't gotten any so far. You tackle one of them, and immediately two others kind of like go from other interactions and pull out their weapons, and like start kind of pointing them in your direction. And there's clearly a bit of a shootout that kind of breaks out immediately, and laser beams. There's a lot of Kirby crackle in the air as they're kind of firing off these laser cannons, as they're kind of actively sort of chasing you around a little bit.
All right.
As for how the fight goes, I'm going to roll 3d6 because this is your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That is a 6. That is another heroic. I think the escalation that I want to throw in here is the escalation I want to throw in to kind of create like a hero moment. I want to see how you kind of fight through it. I think the two Metallos kind of see that you're doing this, or see that Clark is doing this, and have not, and like kind of start moving towards you. Like it's kind of the fight is breaking out. How do you solve this without sort of attracting any additional attention from by way of the two Metallos?
I think what I have this visual of, at this point, the resistance in the city is kind of working together with Superman against the Metallos. And so like I just see this one of those things where like Metallos are, you know, the official police. Their scuffle's breaking out, but nobody wants those guys getting involved. And so I just have this vision of Clark like putting these guys in like, you know, like chokeholds and dragging them, or sleep holds, and kind of dragging them back. And like the ye old threatened shopkeeper, I think he like takes like a can of beans and like whacks one of the guys on the head of it to like knock him down. And then, you know, you cut to Clark on the ground behind the counter with these like a pile of unconscious goons, and the Clark keeper and the the locals just be like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong, everything's normal, it's fine. Like I like the idea of it not being even like Clark as much as Clark and Friends.
I like that especially because it kind of like, since you're getting this point of inspiration, it kind of represents this idea that like you're not fighting alone. Like you fought so many of these fights alone in the past that like now there's a group of people who are like, no, we fight with, like, Superman fights for us, we fight for Superman.
I think our old gung-ho protester from Centennial Park provides a distraction against the other like Metallos and just is like whistling and just like, hey, metal ass, come get some, and just like is like deliberately around like getting some of the Metallos to chase like her and her posse away.
I love this. This is the kind of resistance we live for.
This is what we live for. Yeah, and so like the Metallos are distracted. You've kind of fought them off. You have kept this gang away, though there's raises a lot of questions about those weird weapons they're using. Those are questions for another day. But you've managed to kind of fight them off. You have saved the day. You have stopped the threat, which means it's time for our next card.
All right. I've got the 9 of Hearts. Where is Hearts? We haven't done that one yet. That's the Southside Slums.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the neighborhood that was already not doing super well before the Brainiac takeover. And in a weird way, it is the most ignored out of all of the neighborhoods. I think I love this idea of people in power tend to ignore those on the bottom, and Brainiac in this regard isn't any different. There's still patrols. There's obviously still tentacled computers skittering around, but overall, I feel like the Resistance also is doing a really good job of making sure that nobody like it almost looks like it's the most deserted, when in fact I think it's really the hub of the Metropolis Resistance. I also think like Lois Lane has set up camp within Southside and is helping feed and supply a lot of the people that are there, in addition to taking down everybody's stories.
Yeah. Love it.
So the thing I wrote down for number 9, I actually have to stop for a minute and think how I want to apply this, because I know what I want to do, because what I wrote down was goofy ass villains, because I love the goofy ass Superman villains. But what I'm thinking here is this feels like a real No Man's Land kind of moment of like what one of these weird oddball villains, like how they are kind of okay, yep, I know exactly what it is. I think like this is an area of relative stability, which means that when there is an explosion, like everybody takes notice. I think that I think that Brainiac didn't necessarily notice that that Southside was kind of the quietest neighborhood. Frankly, he's been spending so long with rich people that like his biases are kind of present. However, the people that did notice that are the people that see this as an opportunity for a power grab. So what happens is there is an explosion outside of there is like an explosion outside of one of the kind of I guess kind of like outpost tents that are kind of set up of kind of like way stations in various places in your like that's one of these kind of like outdoor places. It's kind of like an outdoor med tent sort of deal. Explodes, and it explodes nearby to a toy store, and the windows of the toy store explode. As like what happens is like a wave of wind-up toys comes tunneling out as a man in a full jester outfit is like, Southside Slums, you have been selected as the glorious domain of the Toy Man. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Is the Toy Man alone capable of running such a luxurious neighborhood? No. And I think as that happens, there is a magic shop down the street that also the doors blow open, and a bunch of like a bunch of plastic bats fly out and like various other party gags as a man in a truly hideous tweed suit kind of like rolls out and does the Willy Wonka roll and rolls next to him. And also, the Trickster is here.
No.
The Trickster Toy Man Alliance has claimed Southside Park. Brainiac dares not step where the Trickster Toy Man Alliance has claimed our dominion. We fear no, robot. We control machinery ourselves. Watch as we exert man's divine power over machines. Toy Man, show them. Toy Man like awkwardly kind of fiddles with a remote control as like a little shitty toy robot waddles out and then explodes in a very impressive explosion. See, that, my friends, is what awaits any robot that dares to step to the Toy Man Trickster Alliance. And they do like a complicated high five next to each other. They've clearly spent some time rehearsing this.
Oh, it's Superman, sit this one out. Lois Lane can handle that one. These chuckle fucks.
And I think what is happening is that like these like wind-up toy explosive bombs are like flying around and like kind of trying to claim sort of the medical tents and the newspaper stands, and like clearly the like logistical hearts of it. For as kind of silly and shitty as they seem, like I think Lois probably picks up on this pretty quickly as like reports are coming in on the radio of like, oh, this is actually a pretty well thought out like tactical invasion. They have clearly targeted what they see as sort of the choke points of any sort of like civilian resistance.
And they're the worst.
Yeah, they are clearly making a move on essential resources in order to like take hold of this neighborhood by force. Like as much as they're putting on a show, they've clearly put the thought into like, here's how we're gonna take control.
X.
So what is Clark doing when this is happening, and what do you do when these chuckle fucks introduce themselves?
I think Clark is probably just. I think he's spending a lot more time as Superman now, like, but I see it being like kind of a Superman Clark hybrid. He's not Clark Kent; he's Superman in disguise.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right. So, unlike Clark Kent, where no one can tell who he is. This is more like Superman with a button down on over his little t-shirt. So the people know who he is, at least the people who are paying attention and the people who care. And I can like, given that Marcy described that this part of town looks kind of abandoned, but is in itself like slowly becoming a place because of its low importance, a place for the resistance to gather. I see him, just being out there. He doesn't have that pamphlet with him, but it's kind of like, he just like he enjoys the resistance. He likes to hang around, keep an ear out for trouble. And I think
I love this.
He hears the same thing that Lois does about these chuckle fucks causing chaos. And I think he's particularly irked by the systematic attacks on like medical tents and essential resources, especially in a place that has always been deprived of them, even when things are good. And I think that it just doesn't sit well with him. And so with the anger reserved for not anger, but with the righteousness reserved for misbehaving landlords, he's gonna go
I like it.
If I may,
yeah,
I think that Lois is also doing something similar.
Nice.
I mean, this is a woman who's never been afraid of getting her hands dirty, and she's well past the point of getting involved in the story at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if Superman saw or even took down these two idiots with Lois.
She has a 2x4.
Oh, she just put a bunch of bricks in her purse.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. I think that the two of you find them. They've kind of established. They have built. The one. The one fun part of Dark Knight Rises where we see
the one fun part. No, go ahead.
The one act. Sorry, you're right. You are. That is unfair of me. There are many fun parts of that film. My favorite part of that film where we see Scarecrow Court. Scarecrow Court is my favorite part of that film.
That's pretty good.
Unquestionably my favorite part of the film. They have built straight up Scarecrow Court.
Yes, I love it.
A Les Mis style barricade that they're just sitting upon like, haha, the glorious throne of Toy Man and the Trickster. And like they've kind of done this thing where like to go back to the Dark Knight, they're the dog that has caught the car, and now they're like, haha, we've won.
Okay, now what?
All right. Well, this is great. So like they've just.
What are we the lord of?
They're just like drinking a bottle of wine, and then they see the two of you coming, and they're like, "Oh, all right. I guess this is. We were planning for this. You get a bunch of bombs work. I can control that. Maybe you let the trickster control the bombs."
Like as the trickster is saying this, I think just Lois cracks him across the face with the brick purse.
I think you see a trash can come flying at the other one.
And I think you effortlessly knock them out, but the much larger concern is that now there are a bunch of remote-controlled bombs flying around the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's bad. Also, I wonder, like, did we coordinate this, or is it more of a like I smacked one guy and then I saw the trash can flying and then we're both like doing the Spider-Man point at each other?
Yeah, exactly I have a feeling that we both came up on different sides of this barricade, and you aimed for the one on your right and I aimed for the one on my right, and we're like, oh, what just happened?
So that's romance, baby.
What I'm gonna this is great. That's
a first date in my book.
That's how I love it. That's how the Superman Lois story goes in my heart.
Meet cute.
So the threat that I'm gonna roll dice for is these remote control bombs that are suddenly like flying around without anyone controlling them. They're kind of running willy-nilly through the city, and they need to be stopped kind of ASAP. Now, because this is Southside, I am rolling 1 dice for this. This is outside of your relative comfort zone.
I would like to use my inspiration to make you roll another one.
Would you like to use one or both of them?
One of them.
Okay, then I'm gonna roll 2d6 and take the higher result. I rolled a 2 and a 4, so it was a good thing that you used that inspiration. Describe how you stop these bombs and save the day.
So how many are we looking at?
A whole bunch. Dozens.
Oh, a bunch.
Dozens of like little tiny explosives scattering in all directions.
I think you see like Clark and Lois kind of like come across the barrier to the same side, and they look at the bombs, and Clark is like, I think he just holds a hand out for bricks. I mean, Clark is not gonna like hack into this shit. He has to take him out by brute force.
I love it.
And I think it just becomes, you know what it becomes? It becomes like one of those like their version of like going to Topgolf on a date.
Yeah, they're like skeet shooting right now.
Yeah, except with like street debris.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think
as the barricade come off as they chuck things at these bombs.
Yeah, she's got a recorder out as she's like pulling out bricks from her purse, because she's not going to pass up this opportunity to get that exclusive she's always wanted.
Of course not.
Of course not. But I think Superman will say, I'm assuming he knows her name at this point.
Oh yeah,
because she's like Lois Lane, Daily Planet. Miss Lane, I'm trying to keep a low profile here, so maybe leave out the pertinent details.
Oh, this is for later.
Oh, okay.
Do you think the city won't bounce back from all of this? It's seen worse.
That's what I'm counting on.
Well, now that we've got you on our side.
You see, like, I think the romantic, that moment in Kingsman when there's all these explosions going off, but it's to like classical music. Yeah. I feel like he's just like how but things we won't sing. Pop, 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 pop. Oh yeah.
I love it so much. And I think that the last shot that we see of this particular issue is like those explosions going off, the two of you looking at each other and smiling as we close out this issue. So I'm going to throw this a question to the both of you. Do we want to draw one more card, or do we want to kick off the uprising? Do we want to kick off the end of the story?
I think maybe we kick off the uprising so we can do it justice.
That sounds good. Good. So, there's a prep question that I want to ask. I'm going to describe what's happening in the uprising. I do want a question of like what brings you to this moment, because the way that the uprising is set up, it has all led to this. The hero is back in the villain's place of power, having refused to stand down and accept defeat. Their losses hang heavy in the air, but it's time to finish this. The downfall is over. It is time for the uprising. What is the moment that you, Superman, are truly ready to come back and face Brainiac inside of this gigantic Kryptonian super ship?
I had this image of a moment in this outside slums when, like, I think Superman was on one end and hears something about what's going on and, you know, rushes back. Is probably jumping on rooftops, and he looks down and he sees the like members of the resistance taking care of things by themselves. And I think that moment he's just like, they don't need me on the street anymore. And I think he hates that feeling that even if something does happen to him, he knows now that they'll be okay. And so I think in that moment he decides now's the time to finish this, because I think otherwise he had a little bit of guilt of he can't just abandon them to take care of themselves and they're still hurting. But I think, you know, the city, like Lois says, it bounces back and he sees that growth in them, that confidence. And like, I think given that this is Brainiac, he's not assuming that he's gonna win all every fight like usual, so he's just like, this may go badly but they will still be okay.
I love it.
So he's gonna do it.
So you are back in this ship. There is chaos in the streets because the second you kind of revealed yourself, they kind of went on full alert. And Brainiac is kind of sitting on the throne. This is the moment where the villain reminds you of the moments where you failed and describes all the things that you couldn't do and asks why you think you can stop them now when you couldn't before. So I think what it is Brainiac is sitting here on this throne. And merely says to you, the Metallos are running a rampage, Kal-El. You can make a choice right now. You can take the throne. You can stop this. You give the word, they will stop what they are doing. Or you can watch the people that you care about. You can watch all of those little humans and their little resistance. You can watch them play strong. You can watch me string them along for a little bit longer until I get bored of them and wipe them out in an instant. You can watch all of those people, all of those would-be super villains and all of those people who think that they have control in this moment. You can watch them simply go be extinguished in an instant, like my home of Krypton, like our home of Krypton was. You can watch that Lane woman that you seem so fond of disappear the way that I watched all of the people that built me disappear. And he steps aside and points to the throne. Or you can take your seat, your rightful place, and command the army that I am giving you. Frankly, I don't think this is a difficult choice, Kal-El. I believe in you that you can make the right choice right now. I'm not going to be happy if you make the wrong choice, but I will do what I have to do to educate you about what the rightful person in your position should be doing. What's it going to be?
Ultimatums aren't as good negotiating tactics as you think there are.
Well...
And it seems like you've left me two choices, neither of which I want. So I'm gonna pick the people. I don't want to spend, even if it means going out now, I don't want to spend the rest of my eternity with you. I'd rather die out there on the streets with them.
I wish that you had chosen differently, but unfortunately, I made a promise. I made a deal. I will do what I have to do.
So will they.
The fighting erupts in the streets. Laser beams blasting. It is a crisis in every sense of the word, which is when we throw it to
Infinite Crisis.
A little bit. Which is when we throw it over to the city. City, this is your moment to tell the hero what they need to hear, name the people that they did save, tell them how they helped make this world a better place, guide them, encourage them, lift them up, help them carry the weight of falling short earlier so they can stand tall now when they need it the most.
Look at this resistance that you see that is going up against these impossible odds and no one is backing down. That's something that you did. That is it may not have been started by Superman because the spirit of the people was always there, but it was definitely bolstered by Superman's presence in the city. And that's really what the symbol of Superman is, isn't it? You're supposed to just be hope, but everyone is supposed to be like the ideal version of themselves when you're around. And that's exactly what's happening here. You see people that are the ones that can fight are fighting. The ones that can help are getting the injured out of there. You see some people directing supply lines forward with some ammunition, whether it be just rubble or actual ammo from whatever, like any scraps of weaponry people can find. I think you even see like Lois and Jimmy are pitching in, like Lois at simultaneously fighting and making sure the most vulnerable are protected because, you know, despite her tough exterior, she cares way too much about everyone in this city, just like you do.
Can I throw out a detail?
Yes.
I think what we see is Jimmy, like Kermit flailing as he runs from like a Metallo, runs by an alley. Lois jumps out with a baseball bat, smashes the head off of a Metallo, and Lois and Jimmy high five. And Jimmy goes, "Do you want to try it again? Do we want to go for 3? All right." "Oh, I'm so helpless and afraid. I don't know what I'm doing." And like comes back and throws a wink to Lois. Like, "Oh, I'm so scared. I'm just a little nobody."
She's perfecting her batting average here.
Love this.
And you do not see a city helpless to defend itself. They might not be able to win this without you, but they're certainly not going to go down without a fight.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's exactly the conviction that Clark walked in here with. And when he, like, if the city he's out here to protect is fighting tooth and nail, he can do no less.
And so with that, this is your moment. Hear what the city has to say. And describe how you bring down Brainiac, describe how you bring down this ship, and describe how you save Metropolis.
Oh, man. I don't know Brainiac that well, so I don't know if I don't know what to pull from canon.
Just giant angry
robot AI.
Yeah, robot shit.
Techno babble.
Yeah. Well, so Clark is going to start off by doing the punchy of the physical manifestations of AI, and he's going to simultaneously keep an eye out for where he thinks like the motherboard is, the center, the hub, and he's going to so, you know, you see these like panels of him like fighting his way through that. Electronics go flying. Everything has like the greenish blue tint of electronics. And then finally he comes face to face with the brain of Brainiac. And he's like, I think you see parallels of like people on the streets brawling and Superman brawling. And it's the same fight at different scales.
Can I throw to a final moment?
Yes.
Because you said a thing earlier that I really think I would love to propose that this is a very specific moment in Superman lore.
Ooh, okay.
I think you managed to, like, you fight through everything, you've torn through these robots, you've come face to face with Brainiac, the two of you fight, and ultimately, you know, you are as emboldened as you can be. There is no stopping you. What that means, though, is that this ship is now crashing to the Earth.
Oh,
there is no way that you're going to, even if you're able to kind of like atlas it and hold on to it, if it comes down, it's going to crash and hurt a lot of people. Superman, like, you can't simply hold on to this. You're going to have to reach a moment. You're going to have to do something that you don't think that you can do at this moment. You're going to have to rise to your next level.
Oh my God. So I think you see Superman after the fight kind of come out as the ship is crashing, and he's trying to, I don't know, use his mass against gravity, and that's not working. And you just see him yelling. And I think at that moment, he unlocks, like you said, our land-bound up till now friend unlocks this new ability, and that is to fly.
We see Superman fly. And that's kind of the big closing shot of like the fight against Brainiac is like we see you actively flying, right? We see Superman fly for the first time.
It's like, yeah, I feel like it's like coming close to the ground, and maybe his feet even start skidding against the mud, and then he starts having momentum the other way, and the ship goes back up, and it's heading towards the water.
Is there like a big shockwave as like that power activates and you were able to push back as you fly?
Yeah. And I feel like people on the ground get to see it. So
yeah, what are people thinking on the ground?
Don't make me say the thing, because you just opened a big door. You just opened a massive door.
You gotta
look
do
up
it.
in the sky. It's not a bird. It's definitely not a plane. I think it's Superman. That's Lois. Like the final one is definitely her. She's like, it's like poking her head out from behind an alley, like broken baseball bat in one hand.
I think Jimmy goes, is it a bird? Is it just maybe it's a bird?
Get a picture of it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Miss Lane. Sorry. Okay, I got a picture. It looks great. Which brings us to Until Next Time, the final beat of the game. With the villain defeated, the city is at peace. There will be another villain in time. There is always another issue to sell, but for now there is quiet. For now there is only a city. For now the hero can rest. We each have one final prompt. City, how does Metropolis recover from this? What does that look like, and how does the hero's influence make the city a better place?
I think because the ones who stayed are the ones who get to rebuild, have a hand in hopefully making the city better. This is Metropolis. This is Superman. People always win in the end. And I think that there's like a new system of like mutual aid just becomes part of the culture of Metropolis. I mean, the rich people, they left. They got the hell out of Dodge when they could, because they could, but they're not the ones running the city anymore. They come back to a city that knows how to run itself. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. And the people know that they have a hero that is fighting for them.
I love it. So now I, as the villain, will describe the shadow still cast by the villain and how the city mourns its lost. I think that like a lot of the buildings that were destroyed, especially because there were a lot of like the sort of like upper crust commercial buildings, like they aren't really rebuilt in the same way, right? Like they kind of exist. Like there's a lot of like smaller community centers that are built out of these spaces. But the thing that I want to focus on, the shadow of the villain still cast, is there is a TV clip that we see briefly that is a fireside chat from your mayoral candidate, Lex Luthor. Metropolis, when we were under siege, a lot of people left. Lex Luthor stayed behind, and I stayed behind because I love this city. And this city is my home, and this city is my birthright, and you stand up for the things that are yours. I'm Lex Luthor, and I want to be mayor of Metropolis. I hope that you'll vote for me in next week's election, because I have big plans for this city. I have big plans for Metropolis. You haven't begun to see what Lex Luthor is capable of. Which brings us to our final scene. For that, I will throw it to the hero. It is your chance. Describe how, for an all too brief moment, Clark Kent, Superman, gets to rest and relax, and what he does when he is not fighting to save the world. This is your moment to relax. The world is safe. Metropolis is safe. How, for one all too brief moment, do you celebrate your victory and do you rest?
I think you get a scene of because I have to do this. We're going full cheese. Let's go.
Full cheese.
Oh, I'm feeling it.
Okay, where is Lois?
Probably back at a Daily Planet that is hopelessly in disarray as she looks for her typewriter, computer, because she now has all of this, like, just everything from the last several months of the siege that now she needs to put that exclusive like into print. Like this is the story, like the Metropolis uprising, and she's gonna tell it.
So I imagine it's like incredibly late at night. Like you get the scene of like the Daily Planet offices with like the one desk light on, and you see like Lois's head like
still chewing on the pencil,
bent over, and then the next panel you see the back of a t-shirt of somebody kind of in the distance, and he just says, "Burning the midnight oil, Miss Lane."
Oh God, you scared the living daylights out of me.
Well, you seem like somebody who likes to be kept on their toes.
Well, I'd say that makes two of us, especially the last few months.
Yeah, well, someone told me that Metropolis bounces back, so I'm sure things will be back to normal in no time.
Sounds like a smart woman.
One of the smartest I've ever met.
You know, normally I wouldn't like that line, but on you it sounds good.
I think you just know truths when you see them and hear them.
I try. Do you know how to spell magnanimous? She's still typing as she's like occasionally like looking up.
I think he just like kind of walks over and like plops into a seat.
You ready for that exclusive interview now?
I think you're gonna have to do a little more persuading.
All right, game on, flyboy.
And I think that's probably
it.
The last thing you see.
I think the last thing that we see is a car pull up to the Daily Planet office and steps out, looks around the lobby, and Perry White just goes, "What the hell happened while I was on vacation?"
Yes!
And that's it. That's game.
Poetic cinema.
And that's game. That's Anyone Can Wear the Mask.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. This game was everything that I could have imagined it to be and more. Thank you both so much for playing this with me. I am
such a blast.
absolutely over the moon.
I mean, like, this was great. I just fantastic. I loved it.
Could not be happier. This made me so happy. Thank you.
Just
both
like
for
you
playing
should
with me.
feel after you're done with the Superman
story.
media.
I know.
This is how, shockingly.
DC, get at us.
Get the hell at us. Copyright story's better than copyright. That's Flights of Fandom, baby.
That's right.
Well, thank you both so much for playing with me. We'll run through our names and our ats and where you can find us real quick. My name is Jeff Stormer. I am a podcaster, game designer, and the official LARP designer of the Olive Garden restaurant. You can find all of my work at jeffstormer.com. You can find the podcasts that I create, the games that I design, and you can find this game that we played tonight, Anyone Can Wear the Mask, a superhero game for 1 to 3 players about a hero, a villain, and the city that they share at jeffstormer.itch.io/mask. Pooja, why don't you give us the rundown?
All right.
Where are you at?
Hey everybody, I'm Pooja. You can find me on the internet in mainly on Twitter at Pooja and on Instagram at Pujabberwocky. As for streams, you can find me this Thursday over on the Wandering DM channel where I am playing Sentinels of the Multiverse, the Sentinels RPG, where we also tell comic book stories in issues.
That sounds that sounds I'm hyped for this.
It's really fun. Oh, and as an added bonus, chat gets to partake in the shenanigans because there's a trading card game that goes alongside with the live play. So come hang out, influence play. It's a good time. So that's Thursdays on Wandering DM channel at 8:30 Eastern. And then on Sundays, usually you can find me over on Praxagora Thesmophoria's channel where we play the Blue Rose RPG by Green Ronin Publishing, which a bunch of grognards called the gay RPG.
Hell yeah.
We love and cherish, and we may or may not have established a polycule in game last week. So that's really fun. And you can find links to all of these games and where are going to be upcoming announcements and etc. on the at the link in my bio on Twitter. But that's where I am. And in the meantime, you will see me here next Tuesday I will let Marcy announce what.
Marcy, where can people find you online, and what do we got coming up next week?
You can find me most places around the internet under the username Experimental Madness. I won't tell you where. It's like a fun little scavenger hunt. I am technically on Twitter, but I'm never really around. But you can find me under the username Marsful if you ever want to DM me or get in touch about games, being on the game, DMing a game, recommending a game. Feel free to do so. And I'm delighted to tease that next week and for the next 2 weeks, we will be playing a hack of Scum and Villainy, or Blades in the Dark, as we go through the verse in Firefly. It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Our very own Zach will be DMing. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. It's going to be awesome. And stay tuned for more news about what's coming up in our Spooktober streams in October and for the rest of the fall. We've got a lot coming your way.
I am excited to reclaim Firefly from its toxic creator.
Yeah, I can't wait. Snatched from the jaws.
The original purpose of Flights of Fandom is here in force. Y'all, I'm excited. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. Thank you for indulging. Thank you for enjoying some hiccups along the way with the live stream. But we worked it out. We got there. We told a great story. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, have a great night. I don't need to say party on because that's a separate project that I work on. Good night, everybody.